Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm Tucker, and that's Abram. And today we are joined by a very special guest. This is the most popular guest we've ever had on our channel, much more so than my friend and some other YouTuber guy. But this is Zombaekillz from Twitch. Uh, I saw her on Kind of Funny Games Daily a couple months ago, and I was like, wow, this is a person that knows her shit and just is proud to be herself. And I just wanted to have a conversation with you. And then when you tweeted something about wanting to be on other people's shows because it was pissing people off. I'm like, all right, that's the kind of energy I like.
I
So
like it. Yeah.
yeah. So we've been
We
trying
like
to
to
do
make
this for a
people
while.
mad.
Yes. Making people mad's great.
Making people mad 2020.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we've gotten views is because we said the Mario remasters were fake, and then people shitted on us. And we got a ton of fucking views. So
Yeah.
Haters will pay your bills at the end
yes,
of the day.
yes, they will.
They
Yeah.
will. They have boosted me to I made that post that you responded on.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
IGN responded and was like, come host our show. So I'm hosting on IGN this coming week. And
Wow.
a bunch of people were like, hey, yeah, we'd love to have you on and see if we can weed out all the racists in our audience. So
Good. Yeah. I mean, you're covering both ends of the spectrum. You've got 120 subscriber channel and then IGN, which is the biggest name ever.
I think that it's important though to cover to be on various types of media, because I think if you just make the podcast circuit with the most popular guys, then you're not actually being challenged in any way, shape, or form, and you're not helping anybody either. You're not helping other people get their channels up, and my whole thing is pulling people with me as I come up. That's the plan.
I mean, that's ideal. But enough about haters. We're going to talk about something that we all like, which is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the new game, Star Wars Squadrons, which just put it out there. I have not played. I haven't even bought it. I have a very busy weekend. But we're going to format this video around the idea of these two, who I think very much like the game, selling me on it and trying to see if I will want to get it by the end of the video. So talk about what you like.
I think probably the first thing to say is where we're playing, because I think that's going to inform a lot of what we have to say.
Yeah.
So I have been playing on my PS4. As everyone who watches me knows, by all the fucking background noise and disaster, I'm in college right now. I'm in my dorm room. Because of space, I don't have my PSVR with me, so I've just been playing standard, no VR. I'm very excited to play it in VR when I go back home for holiday break. That's how I've been enjoying Squadrons so far.
I've been playing PC. So I've been playing it on PC, so just kind of like my regular setup, using flight sticks and controller. I've played both. And I think it's important to note that I've been playing the game since July because I was invited by EA to be a play tester for the game. So I've watched the game fully take shape from July to now, which is light years of difference.
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy perspective. We're just a couple of idiots with video game consoles. So you certainly are going to know a lot more about this. And that was something I did not expect you to say, but that is definitely a...
Yeah, I could not wait to tell people I've played this game. It was killing my soul. I was like, everybody's like, oh, I don't know if the game's going to be good. I wanted to be like, it's so good. And they did really in-depth surveys to ask us what parts of the game we really liked and what parts we didn't like and how the controls worked and how everything felt. And it was a really immersive experience.
Okay, so why don't you talk about what your favorite aspect of the game is? I mean, clearly you're very experienced with this, so I'm interested to hear what you've got to say.
My favorite aspect, and it's going to sound very cliche, but I really enjoyed the representation in the game. I was really excited to see people that looked like me in the game with not generic, crappy, side cut haircuts. I was really happy to see brown people. I was really excited to hear brown voices voicing for brown people. I was just excited to see that in the game. That being said, I was also excited to see space ladies. Yes, brown females. Getting to play a black girl in space meant so much because there's not been another game where I really get to do that, where I get to really and customize it. So I got to customize my voice tonality. I got to do things I haven't got to do in another game, and I thought that was really cool. So for me, and also there's Keo, who's in the game, and Keo has they, them pronouns, as my friend Mitch was able to tell me, who worked on a Star Wars game. And I thought that was just really inclusive and really dope that we're moving forward in the world of Star Wars, which was such a gate kept by white men universe. Star Wars is the biggest white male gate kept universe that exists. And people like John Boyega have made it so not that. We're just pushing our way into space, which I fucking love. Like I love it. So that's my favorite part of it. That's definitely it for me.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting aspect. Now, probably not a lot of people are going to talk about when they do reviews of this game is the inclusivity. That's a true sign that this is a modern game. Like they're taking steps forward in ways that other games aren't. I know Cyberpunk has some options coming up that when that game comes out, and a couple other games have been doing things like that, but not in the mainstream. So a Star Wars game from EA having those kind of options is actually really impressive.
I think that speaks to there being a nice arc from where we were with Mitch Dyer's storytelling, that whole team storytelling from Battlefront 2, which I think was shaky at best, to Squadrons, which I think is a much more realized and interesting story. And I found myself pretty engaged by it so far. I haven't beaten the campaign yet. I'm about 5 missions in. I covered this game for CBR, writing some strategy guides. So I've been playing a lot of the multiplayer and then hopping back into the single player as I've had time. So I don't have a fully formed opinion on that aspect yet. But I think what I love most about this game is how I fucking hate like half of the buzzwords everyone uses to talk about games. And I try to avoid them, but immersion is so important to the experience in Star Wars Squadrons. And it's not just visual fidelity. It's the fact that on your D-pad, you're diverting power to your shields and to your weapon systems and your engines. There's a level of intricacy here and a level of authenticity that I don't think we've gotten in Star Wars before, because it's always been Battlefront 2. Okay, here's the fidelity, but it's very arcadey the way you fly. You've got barrel roll mapped to the D-pad. You've got all these things. But now, no, you don't have a lot of those things to rely on. This isn't Star Fox. This is a very nuanced flight sim, which I think makes it somewhat unapproachable in some respects. But it's a lot more of a rewarding experience than I expected it to be.
Sure, yeah. What kind of gameplay concepts do you have, especially playing with like flight sticks and being so experienced with it? I imagine you have an entirely different experience with it.
So I've been doing the story mode, and I've played, because when I was doing the play testing, that's all that I had available. I didn't really have a bunch of people to play multiplayer with, because I didn't know who all was in the play test, and that wasn't an option. So story mode for me is super, like he said, I think that's a really great word, immersive, like an immersive experience. I'm somebody who has zero flight stick and flight simulation experience. Like, okay, I played Star Fox. I've played other games where it's like very simple and the controls are mapped out really easy and anybody can fly in space. Accessible, like, for anybody to fly. This game is not that game. This is a flight sim with a story to it. Like, you're in a flight sim, but there's a story. And I love that. It's so immersive that even playing on my PC, I get very motion sick at times during this game. I've definitely had to like look away from my game and look back and be like, okay, I'm not going to get sick. Okay, I'm not going to get sick, because with the movement and stuff, it's very hard. And I think it's realistic to the point where motion sickness is a very real thing. So if you're a person that gets easily motion sick in gaming, which I am not, I've never experienced that before. That was tough for me. That was probably my only caveat from the game, is like the motion sickness aspect of it was trash. And there is a huge learning curve in learning how to fly and divert the power at the same time that you're having your butt kicked, and like you're getting like shot by the TIE fighters, and you don't have time, and you're trying to go to your shields, and do you want your shields towards the front or towards the back? Like, I mean, it's a very like all the way around. I'm panicking in the middle of a space fight, and I can't figure these things out. And I think that's really cool, because I like the playability of that.
Yeah.
To me, when I buy a game, let's say $60 game, because that's the average game price, right? I know it's a little cheaper than that, but let's say $60 game price. I want more than 2 hours of gameplay. I want to be able to revisit a game. Being able to revisit a game and still have fun with it is important to me. It's why I play a lot of battle royales these days, because they're always fresh and getting fresh content, and it's always something I can do with my homies. This feels like that, but in space. Like, I like the idea of a storyline, plus we can do multiplayer.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect what this game ended up being. It felt like in a lot of ways a realization of what I'd always wanted since I was a little kid, with my fucking run around my yard with my Millennium Falcon and my X-Wing and everything, right? I wanted to be in those iconic battles. And this puts you in those battles and says, okay, you're actually flying the ship. like you were just talking about. So that learning curve is high. The potential for motion sickness is high because there is no gamifying of this. They're going to be, okay, you're defending this capital ship, but actually you're being buzzed from 360 directions. So you have to be able to respond to that, which is really engaging. But when you're a panicky klutz like me and the sticks are, you roll off of one stick and you're throttling up and down to make turns you're being locked onto, it really is about stopping, slowing down and thinking, okay, there's someone behind me. My shield's going to be behind me right now. Nothing else matters. And it's about these micro reactions. And I think it makes for a lot more compelling experience than a lot of other Star Wars flight sims I've played. Not many people played it because this was post-launch, but the 2015 Battlefront had it was a free VR component you could download, and you played like an X-Wing mission, but that was very much stripped back. This is not stripped back at all, and that's I think what's most engaging about this game to me. So I am way more impressed with it than I expected.
Okay, so as someone looking in from the outside, I've not played this game. I watched the reveal trailer, I watched the cinematic trailer, I've seen a little bit of the gameplay. I did not expect any of this. I didn't know this was such a flight sim game. I didn't know it was, all the directions kind of laser focusing you in a different way. But that honestly, that's pretty interesting concept for me. I'm someone who has problems with motion sickness. I unfortunately spent too much money on Labo VR a couple of years ago and only played it a couple of times because I got too sick. But I'm willing to give this one a try. It's a little bit cheaper, right? It's a $40 game. Is that right?
$40. It's a really good price point for a game that's come out this year. I just want to say that, like, price point wise, what we've been seeing games start at this year, $40, it hits right underneath that, and I think that's affordable.
Is there anything that that makes it feel like why they chose $40 over $60? I'm really not sure.
I think so, and I think this speaks to my biggest issue with the game so far. I'm concerned about the longevity of the experience. I almost would have rathered that more had been put in and this had been put to a $60 price point, because you're really getting the campaign, which is engaging, but from what I've seen from people online, 6-7 hour campaign, which is not bad at all for a primarily multiplayer focused game. But the multiplayer suite is 2 modes, and one is standard dogfight, and one is it's an interesting capital supremacy mode with tug of war elements, but in a lot of ways it does boil down to more dogfighting. So I'm wondering what the post-launch roadmap for this game is going to be, if anything. And with how great the essential mechanics are, I almost would have liked Motive and EA to have bumped this up to a more premium price structure and had more in the back end for us post-launch or on the disc day one.
Yeah, do you feel like there's a lack of modes, or do you have any idea what the upcoming content is going to be like?
I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah. No,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all. But I mean, I would assume that things would continue with how successful the game is, whether or not they add in more modes or whether or not they add in different things to the game. I think that's normally the survival of the game in the beginning normally puts out the roadmap for where devs are going to go for a game. A dead game's not going to get new things, but if the game has a lot of popularity and I see a lot of people giving feedback for what they want, a lot of these game studios listen. You'd be surprised how much a game studio listens to the pulse of Twitter. So whenever you have stuff like that, I always tell people, like, tweet it at the game, like, tell them, like, oh, I love the game, are we going to get updates? Like, ask them, because you never know what somebody might say. And
yeah.
I am a very big person who, like, puts what I want out there in the universe on Twitter. If you follow me, you know that about me, and you'll never know what somebody will say to you.
Yeah.
It's also interesting in light of Battlefront 2 and the ridiculously phenomenal redemption arc that game had post-launch, going from the launch that was just not great to where that game is now. It's night and day. And considering that happened under the EA apparatus also, I'm hoping that Squadrons having that better start will get a similar post-launch tale, because I think that'd be really compelling. I mean, like, I don't know where the Mandalorian Season 2 would take us, but it would be so cool if we got a content drop there and we're able to fly some ships or anything like that. Would be really compelling. I think there's a lot of interesting ways you could go beyond just saying, okay, we're going to throw in some more iconic locations, or just take you to new planets, or add some more, like, in-atmosphere maps or things instead of just being up in space. I think there's a lot of directions that this game can go in the future. I just really hope that that's capitalized on. And I really hope that EA just continues this trajectory with Star Wars, because between Fallen Order and this, like, we're in a great place right now. A lot better than we were a couple years ago.
EA
Yes, for sure.
kills it. EA kills it. I also want to point out EA did such a great job with the Sims content from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, I
It's
remember
a
that
thing.
being revealed.
EA has been killing it with Star Wars content. Like, a lot of people aren't looking into the big roadmap, but like, we also have, a new Star Wars Lego game coming out soonish. So like, we have a lot of dope Star Wars stuff for us space nerds. Like like, we've got good stuff coming up, and I think that if we keep on this upward trajectory for Star Wars titles in general, we're going to be living really cool and very different places in the universe, and I think that's pretty rad.
Yeah, I'm personally someone who was not a huge fan of Fallen Order. I platinumed the game, but I had a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for the game, and I'm very excited for the future of that series. If they make a sequel to that and fix the issues that I had, I genuinely think it could be one of my favorite games. Seeing as I platinumed the first game, this is still a good enough video game for me to want to continue playing. But I'm honestly, listening to both of you talk about this game, I'm a lot more interested about it than I was before. I've learned a lot through the things that you guys have said, just proving that I'm adult and I didn't know what was going on before this. But yeah, what other stuff you guys got to say about this game? Because I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
For me, it just all comes back to the notion that this is realizing an aspect of Star Wars that I've wanted to realize to this degree for so long. Because Battlefront 2 and where it is now, I think gives the player the boots on the ground Star Wars ground conflict that we've always wanted. I think EA nailed that. I think they nailed the Jedi experience with Fallen Order. I really do. For as many issues as that game has, I think there's such a compelling and empowering gameplay loop there. But it was always that space combat that felt missing. That was the component I wanted tackled as well as Motive did here. And they did, which is great. But I will say that this game, I don't know how you feel about this, but it definitely feels like this is primarily a VR title. And so I want to play it in VR when I go back home. And I'm almost considering holding off on finishing the campaign, since I am going to just be home in a couple weeks, to finish it in VR. Because, for instance, in between missions, you're on capital ships, either the Republic ship or the Empire ship. By the way, shout out to all the characters like General Hera, all these characters I've loved from the expanded universe are in games now, which is so cool. But also, when you're in these ships, you're in first person, but you don't actually move around. You look, and there's the hangar door, and you just hit X on the hangar door to go in. You want to talk to somebody, you look at them, and you hit X. It's very clearly a VR interface. So I do feel like I'm missing something by not playing that way.
I absolutely agree with you. I feel I don't have VR. I need to get there. But it does feel like I'm locked into a VR experience while I'm playing. Like, that whole, like, choosing things in the hangar and being able to look at the droid and inspect the droids. Like, all that stuff feels very VR. So I do feel like I probably don't get the cool experience, and I feel like fight in the ships in VR would be incredible as well. So if I were you and you have VR, I would totally hold off so that
Yeah.
you can get both sides of the coin and kind of see where you stand there. For me, like, the thing that I think was probably the best is atmospheric wise. Like, the aesthetic of the game was beautiful to me. The, like, nebulas in space and the way that it looks with, like, the clouds, and just looking at it, like, the visual fidelity of the game to me is just so pretty. Like, I thought everything in the game looked great. The only thing I'll have a complaint about is the texture of the people's skin bothered me so much. It's 2020. We have better, like, skin options. I don't know why everybody looked slightly sweaty, and, like, their skin just looked like rubbery. Like,
Sure.
but yet the backgrounds of space were so incredibly beautiful and well done, and, like, I actually felt like I was, like, in space. There's, like, space junk, everything's, like, so beautiful, and then I go talk to somebody and their skin looks like it's from a video game in, like, 2009, and it was stressful to me. That was, like, my only disconnect that kind of pulled me out of the experience, was, like, that the skin texture. And I don't know what it was, but, like, I'd be so deeply immersed in the game, and then I'd go look at somebody's face and I'm like, but baby, why? hair was on point. Like the hair textures were cool. I liked the way that they looked. The styles were really unique and everything because I'm a girl, so like aesthetics like my shit. And so like I'm like, oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Why? Why do we do this with the skin? So I don't know. That's like my one like super like complaint that took me out of the experience. And I feel like maybe if I was in VR, because VR is not like everything super great in VR, I wouldn't have minded it as much. But on my PC, it was very noticeable to me.
Yeah, I think that's also just another side effect of this probably being for VR and having to scale these things down so they can be, I'm forgetting the word, but so they can be duplicated for each eye of the headset. I'm assuming that's why that was, but I noticed that too, and it definitely is a little bit jarring on my I'm losing my fucking words, but on my monitor. But the last thing I want to talk about, and I think you're going to be able to agree with this, is how fucking good does it feel to shoot down an enemy ship? There is such a level of satisfaction to the gameplay that I don't think we've really touched on yet. We've talked about its aesthetics and its feel, but I don't think we've just talked about how satisfying it is. When you finally are maneuvering and you lock onto somebody and you fire an ion torpedo or a missile, or you get a missile off your back, it's just, it really is a rewarding experience in a way that I don't think I've felt captured in quite a while.
I feel the same exact way. And I love like when you blow up a ship, like when you've shot it and like the bits like come hit your ship and stuff. It's so like, and you can like feel it bouncing off of you, or you can like feel the rumble in the controllers. Like it is pretty, that to me is like top tier. Like I felt like such a badass. Like I felt like such a badass when I was playing this game, and I'd like actually get to like blow up a ship when you're saving Kyo from like, you know, like, or Frisk from having like people on their tail. I felt like such a badass in Star Wars. Like that experience to me was so immersive and cool. And honestly, if I did nothing else but blow up spaceships for the entire time in the game, I would be 100% happy doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think it's as empowering as what DICE was able to create in Battlefront 2 with the gunplay or the lightsaber combat in Fallen Order. So like I said, I feel like this really just is the last aspect of Star Wars that has been finally realized in a really elegant way. I mean, we've had Rogue Squadron, or way back we had X-Wing and TIE Fighter, or any of the interstitials, but I really think that this is definitive. I really think this is definitive, and I think that this game is going to be remembered very well. And I wish I owned a flight stick. You're making me very jealous, I have to say. I don't even know if you can get a PS4 flight stick, but I gotta try.
Flight sticks, just, you know, shout out to my sponsors, Logitech. Hey guys. They have really great flight sticks, and it's a really fun experience. So I've played with both controller and flight stick. And controller, because I play controller more than I use my mouse. Sorry, Logitech, but I play controller more than I use my mouse, just because I'm just not there yet. Because I've been such a console girl my whole life, right?
Yeah.
Like I just got a PC, so I'm still trying to get there. Don't kill me, Logitech. But the flight sticks are dope, and they're super programmable, and you can like really take the experience. So the flight sticks to me make that immersive experience we've been talking about next level. But I also feel like VR would do that, you know? So like either one of those things, like if I could combine VR and my flight sticks, whoo, I'd be so in there. But yeah, the flight sticks are, I'm definitely going to say they give you a big edge towards the maneuverability too. Because I was having a really hard time maneuvering really quickly with my controller, and like trying to flip, you know, like trying to do the drift challenge and all that other stuff. I was struggling. Whereas with the flight stick, it's just like boom, 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 and you're doing it. So 10 out of 10 if you have the cash, guys. Flight sticks will change your life. And Logitech has great ones, and I have a link in my Discord. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, there we go.
I might put the link in the description. If you can send it to me, I'll put it in the video.
I'll send it to you. I got a whole Logitech group, and you know, they don't pay me. Just saying, just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But you know, I really like their stuff so much.
The shameless promotion. I love it.
You know?
Yeah.
Tucker, how do we do? You gonna fucking pick up Star Wars Squadron? Stop playing dumb Mario's Picross?
Well, okay, all right. I've been playing Mario Picross.
Who plays that game? You play that game?
I'm a Picross fan. All right, this is just a weird thing that I'm into, and they added it to the Super Nintendo Online, and I was playing it yesterday during the class that I was supposed to be paying attention to.
Wait, you're playing, sir? 15 hours of class, and you're just in there playing Mario, bro.
We all do.
I'm a mom. Let me yell at you for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
You better study. You better study. How much debt are you taking on because of college? A lot.
No, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Sir. No
Yes,
Mario
ma'am.
Picross
Yes,
during
ma'am.
class.
Okay, well, I honestly have been sold a lot more on this game, hearing two of you talk about it and learning a lot more about the game than I didn't know like half the crap that you guys were saying. Like, and honestly, and that's just me not paying attention to the reveal and the news about the game surrounding its launch. But I'm going to be interested to keep my finger on the pulse of this game and see where it's going in the future, because the idea of it being a success and you guys enjoying it so much, and then them continuing to support it with expanded content in the future, and this being sort of the next step in Star Wars immersion. It's pretty exciting to hear that this series that I've loved since I was a kid is finally getting the experience, the immersive experience that I've kind of always dreamed of. So that's pretty cool. And honestly, I'm likely going to get this.
You have to. It's so much fun. And then you can be in space with your friends.
Yeah.
You can be in space with your homies. Like, I don't know. The idea of like the whole multiplayer thing really is what pushed me to like really want to play the game. When I mentioned it into the universe on Twitter, by the way, I just said I wanted to play the game and I got to play test the game. Just saying. It's pretty great. And like Mitch did a dope job. Mitch and their team did a dope job. Shout out to Mitch. Love you, Mitch, so much. He's the best. But they did such a good job. I loved all the dialogue. I loved everything. There's literally no downside other than the feeling like you're gonna puke if you're out there busting around in space crazy.
Yeah.
So, maybe take a Dramamine or something and live your best life,
Yeah.
I also think it does get better after you play a couple hours. Once I wasn't freaking out and spinning upside down trying to escape from people, the motion sickness evened out a little bit. So part of it is just getting your feet under
space
you.
legs, getting
your space legs, if you will. Sure.
I love that. Space legs. So good. But that's true. I did feel like the motion sickness dialed back like by hour 3. But I also, I launched the game, so I played it at launch for EA because shout out to EA. I was sponsored by EA to play the game. And it was the first hour was tough. That first like hour and looking everywhere and trying to figure out how to turn around and get the turrets and flip down and flip up. I was like, baby, I'm live and I don't want to puke. But it got better as the hours went on. And now whenever I boot up the game, like I don't even think about it. But also, I'm not flipping my spaceship around like a drunk monkey. Like I'm having a good time playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Well, I think that pretty much does it. We've almost out of time for this 40-minute Zoom meeting. I don't know how the timer works, but it's going to run out at some point. But thank you very much both for joining me. It's actually really nice to finally get you on here. We've been trying to plan this for a couple months. We were initially going to do Battletoads, move to this. I think this was the right move to have you on this, because you're obviously very experienced with the game. You're very interested. I loved your personality. I'm very glad we could have you on here. I mean, this was really fun. This went a lot better than our other guest appearances have.
Oh, don't talk about them. They gonna come for me in the comments. Don't do that. They're gonna be like, we hate her. You know how much people hate me in the comment sections, friends? They be hating me.
We've got 120 subscribers. I don't think we need to worry too much about the haters. But, if we do, hey, haters, like the video. Or dislike it. Get us
or just watch it. Just watch it.
Exactly.
Just like, thanks for watching. Shout out to you for giving us views. We love it. We love to see it.
All we want is engagement. That's it. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
As a set of small up-and-coming YouTube content creators, if you hate the video, just keep watching it and get more and more mad. But generate those views, please.
Yeah, please help them out. I love it. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited. I'm sorry that it takes so long. My life's been a little crazy.
So the world's been crazy. I don't think that's an issue.
My life's been crazy. I just hopped into the games industry and like my life's been a little wild. It's been a little wild.
Yeah. Okay, well he's gonna show off his bear and then I think we're gonna end the video.
I'm gonna serenade us out. Let's see. Let's not get copyright struck. Bye everybody. I'm gonna keep playing it, so you're gonna have to wrap up the video.
No, I think we'll just end it on this.
Yeah. Shout out to Willifred. My girlfriend got him for me. A little Build-A-Bear date,
Oh, a Build-A-Bear date.
Gotta do it. I'll stare into the camera. We're gonna find out.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.